Hey y'all, it's Tabitha. Before I get into it, if you are not following me or if you are not subscribed to my channel, please click that subscribe button. Please click that follow button. I'm trying to get to 500,000 subscribers. Now, y'all remember when Donald Trump said this back at the beginning of February?
People should be going back to Gaza. I think that Gaza has been very unlucky for them. They've lived like hell. They lived like you're living in hell. Gaza is not a place for people to be living. And the only reason they want to go back, and I believe this strongly, is because they have no alternative. What's the alternative? Go where? There's no other alternative. If they had an alternative, they'd much rather not go back to Gaza and live in a beautiful alternative that's safe.
Palestinians in Gaza, some of whom we should note have been living there for generations, their families, if not literally centuries,
right?
Saying Gaza should not be there. It's not a quote place people should be living.
If you don't think elections have consequences, listen to that over and over and over again.
Yeah.
President Trump says it so casually, sometimes you don't understand what he's saying, because he just says it as if he's saying, Tuesday comes after Monday and there's a weekend before that. That was the President of the United States sitting in the Oval Office endorsing the forcible resettlement of Palestinians off their own land,
Right.
off land that international law recognizes as their land, as land that the United States, until 2 weeks and a day ago at least, recognized as their land. And the Prime Minister of Israel, the state created because Jews were forcibly relocated, forcibly resettled, and then killed in Europe by Hitler, sitting there smiling, while
Yep.
the President of the United States is saying we should forcibly resettle a people off their land. Now, the Arab nations in the neighborhood have all protested, mutedly, because they don't want to pick a fight with President Trump. But Jordan and Egypt have said no.
Yep.
It goes against everything the Arabs have said for decades. Now, the Arabs have often used the Palestinians as pawns in their other grievances. Beth can describe that better than me. But for the President of the United States, a democracy, to say we would forcibly support the forcible resettlement of people because he says it's hell. The Palestinian people would tell you that's their land. And they didn't want to be, there was a terrorist attack on Israel on October 7th. We can never forget that. There was a terrorist attack by Hamas on Israel on October 7th. But the idea that a result of that should be the Palestinian people forcibly resettled off their land with no international conversation, no Palestinian representation by the President of the United States, can't think of a bigger policy shift like that.
And Arab Americans and Muslim Americans and Palestinian Americans, they all overwhelmingly went into the voting booth to vote for Donald Trump because he went out there to Dearborn, Michigan and told them that there will be peace in the Middle East. And he didn't tell them how he was going to do it. He's telling them now how he's going to do it. And instead of listening to Black Americans, they all chose to stab Black Americans in the back to vote for the racist white man who has always been buddy-buddy with Benjamin Netanyahu. They chose to vote for him or Jill Stein or Cornel West or not vote at all. And on top of that, those who represent their community that are all over social media, well, we don't see them much anymore. Yeah, since Donald Trump got into the White House, they've been real quiet. Just the racist white leftists are all on social media still talking shit about Kamala Harris. They ain't got nothing to say about Donald Trump and all of this shit that he says about taking over Gaza. Nothing to say about that. Still attacking Black people and still talking shit about Kamala Harris. Yeah. And now today, at the beginning of April, Donald Trump is still meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu and is still talking about taking over the Gaza Strip. You see, Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu met at the White House yesterday, and they talked about several different things. They talked about the tariffs, they talked about Iran, and they talked about the U.S. taking over Gaza. He's still talking about it. Donald Trump wants to take over Gaza because it's like I said, what Jared Kushner said, months ago, months and months ago, way before the election, Jared Kushner said that Gaza was prime beachfront property. See, Jared and the billionaires want Gaza because, yeah, this is what they're going to do.
Tunnels coming to set you free, bringing the light for all to see. No more tunnels, no more fear. Trump Gaza is finally here. Trump Gaza shining bright, golden future, a brand new life. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza #1. Trump Gaza shining bright, golden future, a brand new life. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza #1.
Yes, 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 yes. They've got big plans for Gaza. They're going to turn it into Trump Gaza. What did he say? It is the Riviera of the Middle East. That's their plans for Gaza. And it's sad because the Palestinian people are suffering because of white leftists in this country and because Arab Americans, Muslim Americans, and Palestinian Americans followed along with racist white people and believed the lies of a racist white man over black people. But they'll be quick to tell you, we all stood together. Palestinians march with black people. And then they turned around and stabbed black people in the back. Let me tell you what he said in the White House on yesterday. Donald Trump said, and I quote, if you take the people, the Palestinians, and move them around to different countries, and you have plenty of countries that will do that, you really have a freedom zone. You know what I call it? A great location that nobody wants to live in. Then Netanyahu said, what the president talked about is, first of all, to give people a choice. Gazans were closed in. What is wrong with giving people a choice? And then they added, it's going to take years to rebuild Gaza. And in the meantime, people can have an option. But wait, there's more. Donald Trump said, quote, you know how I feel about the Gaza Strip? It's an incredible piece of important real estate, and I think it's something that we would be involved in, but having a peace force like the United States there controlling and owning the Gaza Strip would be a good thing. Now, let's be clear. Him saying that the United States would be owning Gaza, he doesn't mean that. He's saying that in order to sell the idea. What he means is him personally, Jared Kushner, his family, and all of the rest of the sycophants that follow him, the millionaires and billionaires, they would all have a piece in owning Gaza. Yeah. And this is the consequences of your actions. It did not have to be this way. Black people, black women, black men have been dealing with these racist demons for centuries. And we tried to tell you, Donald Trump is not letting this go. He is not. He sees money in Gaza. Yeah, that's all I got.